6 interesting facts about Superman, Henry Cavill. 1. Stephanie Meyer, author of the Twilight Saga, had a big crush on Cavill to play Edward Cullen. Just a day before it was decided who would play Edward, Cavill lost to Robert Pattinson because he was considered too old to be Edward, even though Cavill was only 24 at the time. There's a good thing Cavill doesn't play in the Twilight movie because he's too macho to be a jealous vampire, let alone have to accompany the drama queen Kristen Stewart. 2. Actually, in 2006, he was the strongest candidate to play Superman, but for some reason, the director of Superman Return at that time, Bryan Singer, chose Brandon Roth. The decision had made Cavill disappointed. Luckily it didn't work out, because Bryan Singer's Superman was a bit shaky. After waiting 6 years, the role finally fell on him. 3. He was once a candidate to play James Bond. But it's a shame the choice fell on Daniel Craig, who is older. Maybe for the role of James Bond it would suit the older ones. But if Daniel Craig retires, Cavill is really suitable to be James Bond, especially since he is originally from England. 4. Cavill's current body is very well trained, muscular and has a six-pack stomach, but it turns out that during school and when he was a teenager he was often bullied and reviled as Fat Cavill because he was fat. His friends who used to make fun of him might be surprised to see that the fat man has now turned into a man of steel. 5. Cavill can speak many languages. It is rumored that Henry Cavill spoke 9 languages but was fluent in only 4: English, French, Spanish, and Italian. It's still very impressive. He has always been fascinated by other cultures. In school I was interested in ancient history and Egypt. In particular, says Cavill, there was a historical fiction writer named Christian Jack who wrote a series of books, kind of like ancient Egypt books, and I really enjoyed them. I thought, if I'm going to learn something, why not make it something I really like? The idea was to get a degree in ancient history or ancient Egypt and have the armed forces sponsor me through university, and join the armed forces afterward. In the end, he decided to continue acting. 6. The trouble with the American accent: Henry Cavill, who often plays the role of an American, has a very difficult accent. It's only natural, considering that Henry is from England, whose accent is very far from America, even down to many basic things. Henry might look like a real American in the movies, but that's all thanks to his hard work learning to make this accent. Henry admitted that on several occasions he still had difficulty pronouncing sentences with an American accent, so he was constantly corrected. Even so, it still doesn't seem that his performance in many films like Man of Steel is so influenced by his British accent.